Good morning, children, and welcome back to the digital classroom of Vikram Juneja. In my today's video, I'm going to deal with Act 2, Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice, and we are also going to do a bit of Act 2, Scene 2. So let's begin with Act 2, Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice, where Prince of Morocco, the first of the suitors who adhered to all the three conditions of the Lottery of Caskets, was there to try his luck in the Lottery of Caskets. I'll just go about reading the text. Flourish of cornets, enter the Prince of Morocco, a tawny Moor all in white, and 3 or 4 followers accordingly, with Portia, Nerissa, and their train. Morocco says, mislike me not for my complexion, the shadowed livery of the burnished sun, to whom I am a neighbour and a near bred, bring me the fairest creature northward born, where Phoebus's fires cast doth the icicles, and let us make an incision for your love, to prove whose blood is reddest, his or mine. So Prince of Morocco is trying to say here, don't hold my skin color against me. I was born and raised in the sun, which is why I'm dark-skinned, but I am a red-blooded as any man. Show me the best-looking person born in the freezing north, where the sun barely thaws the icicles. I'll win you your love by cutting myself to prove to you I have redder blood than he does. Then he further says, I tell thee, lady, this aspect of mine hath feared the valiant. By my love I swear, the best regarded virgins of our clime have loved it too. I would not change this hue, except to steal your thoughts, my gentle queen. So he further says, I'll win your love by cutting myself to prove to you that I have redder blood than the other person. I'm telling you, madam, my skin color has made brave men fear me, and Moroccan girls love me as well for this aspect of mine. I wouldn't change it except to make you think of me, my darling queen. That's what he says. To which Portia replies, in terms of choice, I'm not solely led by nice direction of a maiden's eye. Besides, the lottery of my destiny bars me the right of voluntary choosing, but if my father had not scanted me and hedged me by his wit to yield myself, his wife who wins me by that means, I told you, your self-renowned prince then stood as fair as any comer I've looked on yet for my affection. Portia replies, being good-looking isn't the only way to my heart, you know. I have other criteria for choosing a husband. Not that it matters, because the box tests takes away my free choice anyway. But if my father had not restricted me like this, forcing me to marry whoever wins his this test, then you would have had a good chance to marry me as any of the suitors I have met so far, Prince. So this is the way Portia replies to Prince of Morocco. Now, to this Prince of Morocco says, even for that I thank you, therefore I pray you lead me to the caskets to try my fortune by this scimitar that slew the Sophie and a Persian prince that won 3 fields of Sultan Suleiman. I would outstare the sternest eyes that look. So he says, thank you, madam, for saying that. Show me the caskets and let me try my luck. I swear by my sword, which killed the Shah of Persia and the Persian prince and defeated the Sultan Suleiman 3 times, that I would face the meanest looking warriors on earth. I would act braver than the bravest man on this earth. Okay? Pluck the young sucking cubs from the she-bear, yea, mock the lion when he roars for prey, to win the lady, but alas, the while if Hercules and Lichas play at dice, which is the better man, the greater throw may turn by fortune from the weaker hand. So is Alcides beaten by his page, and so may I blind fortune leading me miss that which one unworthy may attain and die with grieving. So he further says, I would grab bear cubs from a ferocious mother bear, or tease a hungry lion, all of this in order to win your love, Portia. But this is bad if the hero Hercules and his servant Lichas rolled the dice, which would win? Not the greater hero, just the one who happened to be lucky at that time. And just as Hercules could be beaten by a servant, similarly, blind luck could make me lose this test and make someone worse than me win. If that happened, I would die of sadness. To which Portia replies, you must take your chance and either not attempt to choose at all, or swear before you choose. If you choose wrong, never to speak to lady afterward in way of marriage. Therefore, be advised. Portia replies, you have to take your chances, prince. Either don't choose at all or swear beforehand that if you choose incorrectly, you'll never talk about marriage to any woman again. So Portia says that you need to think about it carefully. So Morocco says, nor will not come bring me unto my chance. So Morocco says, fine, I swear I won't ever get married if I choose incorrectly. Let me take my chance. Portia says, first forward to the temple after dinner, your hazard shall be made. So Portia says, let's go to the temple first. You can take your chances after dinner. I'll try my luck then. Morocco says, good fortune then to make me blessed or cursed among men. Cornets and eggs went. So he says, I'm going to try my luck then. I'll either be the luckiest or the unluckiest man alive. Then the trumpets play and then they exit the scene. Right, we are on to Act 2, Scene 2 now. In this particular scene, we move to Venice, where another character by the name Lancelot is introduced. He's a clown in the play. He's working as a servant to Shylock, but he's not happy working with Shylock. He is thinking of running away from Shylock. Let's go about reading the text now. Act 2, Scene 2. Enter Lancelot, the clown, alone. Lancelot says, certainly my conscience will serve me to run from the Jew my master. The fiend is at my elbow and tempts me, saying to me, Gobo, Lancelot Gobo, good Lancelot, or good Gobo, or good Lancelot Gobo, use your legs, take the start, run away. Now, Lancelot is saying, I'm sure I'll feel guilty if I run away from this Jew my master. The devil on my shoulder is tempting me. He's saying, good Lancelot Gobo, good Lancelot, or good Gobo, or good Lancelot Gobo, use your legs and run away. But my conscience is speaking otherwise. What is my conscience saying? He says, my conscience says, no, take heed, honest Lancelot, take heed, honest Gobo, or as aforesaid, honest Lancelot Gobo. Do not run, scorn running with thy heels. Well, the most courageous friend bids me back. Fear, via, says the friend. Away, says the friend. For the heavens, rouse up a brave mind, says the friend, and run. Now, he says further that the devil is urging me to go away, where is asking me to run away, but then my conscience is asking me to hanging around my heart. It says very wisely to me, my good friend Lancelot, you are a good boy, the son of an honest man. Really, that should be the son of an honest man. Woman, or rather, really, that you are a son of an honest woman. You should not run away. He says, because my father cheated my mother, so I would call myself as the son of an honest woman. He says, my conscience is saying to me to stay put. Go, the devil says, do not go, says my conscience. Conscience, I says, you give me good advice. Okay, now then he further says, well, my conscience is asking me to budge not. Okay, budge, says the friend. Budge not, says my conscience. Conscience, say I, you counsel well. Friend, say I, you counsel well. To be ruled by my conscience, I should stay with the Jew, my master, who, God bless the mark, is a kind of devil. And to run away from the Jew, I should be ruled by my friend, who, saving your reverence, is the devil himself. Certainly, the Jew is the very devil incarnation, and in my conscience is but a kind of hard conscience to offer, to counsel me to stay with the Jew. The friend gives the more friendly counsel. I'll run, friend. My heels are at your command. I'll run. So he further says that My conscience is asking me to stay put, and the devil is asking me to go. Don't go, says the conscience. So he says to the conscience that you are giving me a good advice. He says to the devil that you are giving me a good advice. If I listen to my conscience, he says, I would stay with the Jew, my master, who is a devil himself. But if I ran away from the Jew, I would be following the advice of the devil, who is the very devil himself. Certainly, the Jew is the devil incarnate, and my conscience is giving me a hard time by telling me to stay with the Jew. The devil's advice is nicer. I will run, devil. Tell me to run and I will run. So ultimately he makes up a choice. He takes a decision of running away from his master Jew. When Lancelot is in two minds, Gobbo, his father, enters. Gobbo enters with a basket. Gobbo says, Master young man, I pray, which is the way to Master Jews. Now, Gobbo is blind, so he's not able to actually make out his son who is standing in front of him. So he says, excuse me, young man, how do I get to the Jews' residence? So he's asking for Shylock's residence. He has come to meet his son, Lancelot. Lancelot speaks a soliloquy. He speaks aside. He says, O heavens, this is my true begotten father, who being more than sand blind, high gravel blind, knows me not. I'll try confusion with him. So he says to himself, good heavens, it's my father. He doesn't recognize me because he's half blind, or more than half blind, somewhere between half blind and totally blind. I'll play a little game with him. Gobbo speaks further. He says, Master young gentleman, I pray you, which is the way to Master Jews? Gobbo says, young man, excuse me, how do I get to the Jews? Lancelot replies, turn up on your right hand at the next turning, but at the next turning of all, on your left, marry, at the very next turning, turn off no hand, but turn down indirectly to the Jew's house. So Lancelot tries to confuse his father. He says, turn right to the next turn, but at the following turn, turn left. Oh, and then at the very next turn, don't turn left or right, but turn down and around to the Jew's house. Gobbo says, by God's Santis, it will be a hard way to hit. Can you tell me whether one Lancelot that dwells with him or no? Gobbo further says, good heaven, those are difficult directions. Can you tell me if a man named Lancelot who lives with him is still with him or not? Lancelot says, talk you of young master, aside, mark me now. Now will I raise waters. Talk you of young master Lancelot. Lancelot says, are you talking about young master Lancelot? Then he speaks so no one else may hear him. He says, watch out, I'm going to pull a good prank here. Is that who you are talking about? Gobbo says, no, master, sir, but a poor man's son, his father, though I say it is an honest, exceeding poor man, and God be thanked well to live. Gobbo says, he's not a master, sir. He's just a poor man's son. His father, if I do say so myself, is an honest but very poor man, and thank God, likely to live a long time. Lancelot says, well, let his father be what he will. We talk of young master Lancelot. Lancelot doesn't want to be called himself a poor man's son. He says, well, his father can be whatever he wants to be. We are talking about young master Lancelot. Gobbo says, your worship, friend and Lancelot, sir. Please don't call him that, sir. He is just Lancelot. That's the reply of Gobbo. So here Lancelot talks to his father. He further says, but I pray you, ergo, I pray you, I beseech you, talk you of young master Lancelot. Lancelot says to his father, but excuse me, therefore, old man, therefore, I am asking you if you're talking about young master Lancelot. Gobbo replies, his father replies, of Lancelot ain't please your leadership. Gobbo says, yes, I'm talking about Lancelot, sir. Lancelot says, ergo, master Lancelot, talk not of master Lancelot. Father, for the young gentleman, according to fates and destinies and such odd sayings, that sisters three and such branches of learning is indeed deceased, or as you would say in plain terms, gone to heaven. Lancelot says, ergo, master Lancelot, but please don't talk about Master Lancelot, old man, the young gentleman, submitting to the fates, the three sisters who control destiny and other branches of learning like that, is deceased or dead. Or to put in plain terms, in plain language, he has gone to heaven. Gobo says, Mary, God forbid, the boy was very staff of my age, my very prop. Gobo feels very sad when he listens to this news of his son's death. He says, oh no, God forbid, the boy was going to support me in my old age. Lancelot says, do I look a cudgel or a hovel post or a staff or a prop? Do you know me, father? Lancelot says, what am I? A cane? How could I support anyone? Don't you recognize me, father? So Lancelot spills the beans and he tells his father that he is Lancelot. Alack the day, Gobbo says, I know you not, young gentleman, but I pray you tell me, is my boy, God rest his soul, alive or dead? Gobbo says, heaven help me, I don't know you, sir, but please tell me, is my boy, God rest his soul, alive or dead? So Gobbo is not able to recognize Lancelot as yet. Lancelot says, do you not know me, father? Lancelot says, you really don't recognize me, father? To which Gobbo replies, alack, sir, I'm sand blind, I know you not. So Gobbo says, sir, I'm half blind, I don't know you. Lancelot says, nay, indeed, if you had your eyes, you might fail of knowing me. It's a wise father that knows his own child. Well, old man, I'll tell you news of your son. Give me your blessing. Truth will come to light. Murder cannot be hid long. A man's son may, but in the end, truth will be out. So Lancelot replies, even if you had your eyes, you still might not recognize me. It takes a wise father to know his own child. So this showcases Lancelot's grudges against his father. He doesn't like his father. His father, actually, according to him, has not treated him well. Okay. It takes a wise father to know his own child. Well, old man, I'll tell you news of your son, he says. Give me your blessing. The truth will come to light and the murder cannot be hidden long. A man's son may hide, but truth will always come out. So this is what Lancelot replies, to which Gobbo says, pray you, sir, stand up. I'm sure you are not Lancelot, my boy. Gobbo is not able to come to terms with this. He says, please stand up, sir. I'm sure you aren't Lancelot, my boy. Lancelot says, pray you, let's have no more fooling about it, but give me your blessing. I'm Lancelot, your boy that was, your son that is, your child that shall be. Lancelot replies, come on, quit fooling around. Give me your blessing, father. I am Lancelot, who was your boy, who is your son and will be your child. Gobbo says, I cannot think you are my son. Gobbo says, I can't believe you're my son. Lancelot says, I know not what I shall think of that, but I'm Lancelot, the Jew's man, and I'm sure Marjorie, your wife, is my mother. So he speaks his mother's name. Lancelot says, I don't know what to say to that. But the fact is, I am Lancelot, the Jew's servant, and Marjorie, your wife, is my mother. Gobbo says, her name is Marjorie. Indeed, I'll be sworn if thou be Lancelot, thou art mine own flesh and blood. And feels the back of Lancelot's head. Lord, worshipped might he be. What a beard hast thou got? Thou hast got more hair on thy chin than Dobbin, my Phil horse, has on his tail. Gobbo says, yes, you're right. Her name is Marjorie. If you're Lancelot, then you are my own flesh and blood. And he feels the back of Lancelot's head. He says, my lord, what a bushy beard you have. You've got more hair on your chin than Dobbin, my horse, has in his tail. Lancelot replies, it should seem then that Dobbin's tail grows backward, and I'm sure he had more hair of his tail than I have of my face when I last saw him. Lancelot says, then Dobbin's tail must be growing backward. I'm sure he had more hair on his tail than I have on my face when I last saw him. So Lancelot feels offended. He feels that he has more hair right now. He is more bearded. He's more of a gentleman. Gobbo says, Lord, how art thou changed? How dost thou and thy master agree? I have brought him a present. How agree you now? So Gobbo, his father, says, Lord, how you have changed. How you and your master are getting along. I brought him a present. How are you? Lancelot says, well, but for my own part, as I have set up my rest to run away, so I'll not rest till I have run some ground. My master is a very Jew. Give him a present, give him a halter. I'm famished in his service. You may tell every finger I have with my ribs. Father, I'm glad you have come. Give me a present to one master, Bassanio, who indeed gives rare new liveries. He says, I'm all right, father, but I have decided to run away from my old master, Shylock, and I can't wait to get going. My master is a total Jew. You are giving him a present? Give him a noose to hang himself. He's starving me to death. You can see my ribs so well, you can count them on my fingers. I'm glad you've come, Father. Give me a present to give to Master Bassanio. He gives his servants beautiful new uniforms. So that's how Lancelot replies. So he further says, if I serve not him, I'll run as far as God has any ground. O rare fortune, here comes the man. To him, Father, for I am a Jew, if I serve the Jew any longer. So he says, Lancelot further says, if I can't get a job with him, with Bassanio, I'll run away to the ends of the earth. Oh, look, this is lucky. Here comes Master Bassanio. Let's go talk to him, Father. If I work for the Jew anymore or any longer, you can just call me a Jew. So children, we are going to do it till here, and we will continue with our Act 2, Scene 2 in our next class. Okay, I'm going to attach 3 questions with this particular video. I would want you to attempt these 3 questions in your fair literature and English notebooks. This is it for this particular video. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay healthy. Stay safe. God bless you all.